conclusion. I'm almost to the end of the projection. So it's just like what is art and what is design, it should come first in your mind. So design is what you need for, and art is beyond your need. So the moment I'm creating something for some customer, that is called design. But when I'm giving my aspect to the design beyond my wish or beyond my purpose, that particular stage I'm talking about, that particular stage is called art. So here there is a dilemma like how we should call it, whether it's a part of art, whether it's a part of design, or shall we call both together. Now, according to Miss Leona, it was more of designer aspect. According to me, it's more of art aspect. According to my corporates, it's yes. Both the characters are there, but then again, the aspects of the quality is more rather than the design. So here, I'm not going to give you in full manner, but then again, I will put a question to you all. You can choose your perspective in which criteria you want to put it on, whether it's art, whether it's design, or whether it's both. Limitation, yes, there are some limitations. Like few of my friends, they're also working in other states, but I actually that is from our future research paper where I am going to think about it. But then limitations like we have integrated only one studio in the Bangalore where we went through the Google Star and the quality of the work and the presentation of the work also. So that is one limitation we had. Yes. And last, I want to thank my co-authors and Ms. Leona for giving us so much of opportunity to experiment, to understand the stretchability and the quality of the material. References, the idea of step again, then the story of sugarcane, and then again, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So it's just taking few minutes. I have got few part of it just to make you feel that how it should look like or just so this whole parts are edible except the wire and the thread.
And that's something which my author, Mr. Akash Verma, has made when he says,
It's both collaboration by me and by Ms. Leona. That is the aspect of the material, right? We need to understand the material first, then we need to proceed with the design, right? How we can step forward. Yes.
we can continue with the next presentation. We have with us Mr. Rohit Sharma. I would like to call up Mr. Rohit Sharma. A big round of applause for Mr. Rohit Sharma, please. Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah. So, hi everyone, my name is Rohit Sharma and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Animation and Game Art at Acharya School of Design. And today I'm happy to share one of my research papers which is titled as Design and Materiality, Reaching the Tangible and the Transformative. So there I use the two terms. First one is the tangible, where I basically refer to as the base material, and second one I refer to as the transformative, which is the process where the base materials is used to create a design that has some ethics or that has some emotional aspect as well. So this paper also tried to explain that the material we use in design making process are not just a stuff or just an object, but they also tell stories, shape idea, and help us to design better. So let me start with the introduction part. So in my introduction, we usually think that the material, as we think this like it's maybe a wood, maybe a metal, or it may be a plastic. But this paper shows that the material are also culture and the ethical choices. And this paper explores how the material we choose in design can help to solve the modern problems like climate change, waste, and loss of traditional knowledge. So it look at how designers are mixing the traditional material with the new technology to create a smarter and more meaningful design. So here are some of the examples I want to highlight. So first one is going to be in many Indian homes. Can you please go back? Yeah, thank you. So in many Indian homes, clay room styles are being used and they help to keep the house cool in the heat. But they also about using the material that fit in the climate and the culture. Let me go for the next example. Okay, so this one I guess you know very well about the banana leaf plates. So banana leaf plates are mostly used just to eat. Okay, especially during the festival, maybe in the function, or maybe just in the normal houses also used to use it. But most of the people think that it's only because of its hygiene and the biodegradability property, but it also has symbol of hospitality and tradition in the southern part of India. So here the material is banana leaf, its function is just like serving food, and cultural value I already mentioned is the respect and the ritual purity. So can we move to the next slide? There is one more example from the Indian context I want to show, which is going to be the Khadi factory. So, which was promoted by Mahatma Gandhi during the freedom movement, but it's still used for many homemade things, and because it's for the rural artists. So here is my second example, which is going to be the Khadi. Let me move to the next one. Thank you. So next example is the terracotta in the village homes. So used in the roof tiles, cooking pots, and the sculpture, not just because it's a local and cheap, but because it connects to the earth, craft, and the cooling properties also. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, there is one example from the northern part of India, and I guess during this session you have heard about it, which is called bamboo. So used for building homes, bridges, baskets, and even the musical instruments. And it's fast, growing, flexible, and respected in the local culture. So the material is bamboo, and its function is the construction as well as the craft, and it's for the local identity, low impact, and the resilience. Can you move to the next slide? So the main idea of this paper is this: that the material are not just tool; they are partner in the design process. When we use material wisely, we can create things that are useful, eco-friendly, and connected to the people and the places. Okay, so let me talk about the literature review. Starting in the first one, the historical context. So let's now look at some of the ideas from the past research and how they are connected to the present. So in the past, designers like William Morris talk about the importance of using the natural, honest material, things that feel real and meaningful. Now let's look at some of the emerging material like mycelium. As you're seeing in the picture, this is the picture of the mycelium. So mycelium is a root-like part fungus, kind of like a base of a mushroom, and it can actually be grown into pellets that are light, strong, and can be used for both packaging and furniture. So it's fully biodegradable, absorb carbon, and leave no waste, and it's already been used in the project like Museum of Modern Art in the New York City. So finally, I noticed a research gap. So people often talk about how material perform or how they look, but not about their deeper meaning, ethics, and the cultural values. And that's what my paper focused on, bridging together material, meaning, and the modern tool like AI to help designers make better and more thoughtful choices. So Meselium is a great example of how we can work with a link material of design things that are good for the planet. Can we move to the next slide? So let me talk about my methodology. So So to understand how materials are used in a meaningful and an innovative way, I followed a qualitative research method where I focus on real life examples, stories, and the opinions from the designer. I used two main sources. First, I studied real world based project where material plays a big role in the design thinking, and this includes like smart fabric developed in MIT and mycelium based panels in architecture, circular building like one of the Arubs in London, and in an example like Yuri Baker's eco-friendly homes of the work of design studio like Made in Art, which uses mud, lime, and bamboo. So these examples help me to see how traditional materials and the new technology are being combined in an exciting way. Second, I conducted an online survey with 20 professional designers from different countries and including India also, and I asked them a question about how they choose the material in their work, what they think about the AI tool in design, and how important sustainability and ethics are in their decision making process. So, can you move to the next slide? Yeah, on the basis of survey, I come up with these responses. So some designers talk about loving the speed and the efficiency of AI, while others said it's made them feel like they were losing control. Many strongly agree that the material choice they should reflect culture, climate, and community values, not just cost or appearance. For analysis, I look at the pattern across both the answers as an example. I looked the finding into the common theme like material, ethics, AI, and creativity, and balance between the traditional and the innovation. So this method helped me to go beyond just what materials are used and really understand why they choose them and how they shape the design process. Next slide, please. So on the basis of my survey and on the basis of reading over the articles and all, I come to some of the conclusion or the result. So first one is the fiber optic. The smart fabric can change shape with heat and is a washable and low cost grade for clothing. Second one is the mycelium panels that I show in the picture are light, biodegradable and carbon negative, and they already used in the architecture. And next one is going to the Arab circular building is made of part that can be reused up to 90%. And in Indian architecture like Louis Pico and the other use local and low cost materials that are both smart and sustainable. And apart from that, there is one more result I gave that the AI tool helps save materials, but rise concern many designers feel like AI makes suggestions without context, like choosing plastic instead of some local material. Can you go to the next slide? So I did some discussion also. So materials are more than things, they reflect the value and the identity. For example, in many parts of India, bamboo is more sustainable and traditional. It's a whole local artist and grow quickly. But if AI chooses a fancy plastic instead, it may ignore the context. So that's why we need what I call the material intelligence, choosing material with heart, history, and responsibility. Next slide, please. So here is my conclusion. So in short, material are not just tools, they are the part of the message. When we choose the right material, we build things that are better for the people and the culture and the land. Whether we are using the Khadi fashion or art in architecture, we are making design that feel right and work well. As designer, we should see material as a partner, not just a part. So here I want to show you the references that I used during this research. And next slide. And thank you so much for listening. And design with empathy and think with materiality. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vinitha. It's indeed a very exciting and interesting topic. Next, I would like to invite architect Vanita Odata to present her paper. A big round of applause for Vanita, please. May we have her presentation. The last paper for day 3, the last paper of our conference, the last paper of our session. Over to you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Here, my research question is: how does the evolving concept of materiality influence architectural design as a medium of expression, sustainability, and user experience in contemporary built environments? So, as designers, we see that materiality becomes a medium to support our work. Materiality, it becomes an expression when it conveys meaning, emotions, passions, tastes, aesthetics, cultural storylines, and interact with our environment. Materials are the basis for the process of design as it can affect the beauty, strength, function and form of the structure. So design and materiality is personal and is integral across various fields like art, architecture, fabric making, automation, 3D printing. Here I have I have taken some the study just employs these types of research methodology but not in detail. Then here I would like to say that materiality as a medium of expression, it speaks a language. When we take an example of a temple or a small building, we see the kind of materials. And a temple made of stone makes us feel sacred and timeless. So architects use different materials to express emotions, ideas and identity in buildings. So materiality and sustainability. Sustainable materials are very kind to the environment. New materials are being made from waste or natural sources like bamboo, mud, or recycled plastic. So here materiality and user experience wise, materials affect how we feel in a space. For example, in an auditorium or a school, etc. So this again here I have spoken about some theoretical and movement-based influence on design direction. Design movements like art, Nouveau, Bauhaus, Art Deco, and art and crafts movement, which have contributed to shaping how aesthetics, craftsmanship, and technology they intersect in architecture and allied arts. The fashion is cultural narrative and environmental activism. Fashion design has transformed from mass production trends to platforms for cultural expression and ecological consciousness. Elements such as garment, color, fabric, and accessories serve as potent communicators of identity, mood, status, and cultural pride, connecting design to deeper anthropological dimensions. So cuisine and interior design today they reflect a growing convergence of health, aesthetics, and sustainability. Beyond food preparation, culinary design now encompasses eco-conscious dining spaces that use natural materials and traditional cookware like mud pots and cast iron, supporting both environmental goals and health of the user. The dining environments emphasize user experience, emotional comfort, and the ambience, blending sustainable design philosophies with cultural principles. Design as a multidisciplinary force is playing a vital role in promoting environmental justice, preserving heritage, and enhancing quality of life across diverse sectors. Key finding is the increasing integration of design across sectors, architecture, fashion, product design, culinary arts, towards the shared goals of environmental justice and user-centric innovation. So the research highlights principles of sustainable material selection, including renewable, recyclable and biodegradable ethically sourced materials. Engaging stakeholders such as local communities and ethical suppliers fosters a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities within the sustainable material ecosystem. So contemporary smart design of 21st century focus on adaptive reuse, circular economic principles, integration of renewable materials, climate change, social inclusion and equity, renewable availability of resources and long-term feasibility. So environmentally, the integration of sustainable materials supports green infrastructure, minimize waste and aligns with the SDGs, particularly in areas such as responsible consumption, poverty reduction and climate action. So coming to my findings also underscore the symbolic and cultural power of materials, reflecting the history, identity and societal values. So I would conclude by saying that ultimately the findings suggest that materiality is central to the evolution of design, where ethical, functional and emotional dimensions converge to create spaces that are sustainable, expressive and enduring for future generations. Thank you all. Thank you, Acharya, for this beautiful international conference. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful presentation. Now it's time for the panel discussion. For our panel discussion, we have had some really amazing people from the industry. I would like to call and invite Professor Prakash Gunakar, an alumni of IIT Mumbai with a master's degree in industrial design, and he holds a BTech from NIT Calicut. With over 3 decades of professional experience, he also has rich experience of working in India as well as USA. He has the credit of designing numerous consumer products as industrial designer. His areas of interest in research are innovation, new product design and development, new opportunity, identification, creativity, strategic design, consumer behavior emotion, design education and management. A big round of applause for Professor Prakash Kumar. I request our principal, Shiraska, to kindly present him with a present token of appreciation. A big round of applause for Professor Shiraska. Thank you so much sir, for being here. We can keep it there and make it nice. The next big name that we have is Dr. Raju, Senior Scientist from Institute of Food Science and Technology, Bangalore. He has a PhD in Materials Science from Andhra University. Not to forget, he's a PhD gold medalist. With over 15 years of research experience, his areas of research are fire retardant wood products. He has approximately 26 publications, national and international, and has worked collaboratively on many products. A big round of applause for Dr. Raju. I request our Vice Principal, Acharya Jaya ma'am, to present him with a token of appreciation. Can we have a big round of applause for Dr. Raju, please? The other panel members would be Assistant Professor Rohit Sharma, Assistant Professor Akash Parvat sir, and Mr. Divya Darshana. Yes, sir. I request all the panel members to kindly come up.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank Acharya Design School for inviting me here and organizing such an excellent conference. Thank you for sending me the invitation. Thank you, sir. I'm going to share briefly my experience with material and how that is intertwined with design. Essentially, right from beginning of my school days in Japan and moved to professional, I think design as well as material, both of them matter and close. You can't separate them. I think then. Way back in 90s when I was a student at IIT Mumbai, plastic was a local material. Plastic had just come into group wonders. Before that, predominantly metal was used to create new objects or new products and all that. But then plastic, many different forms, many different shapes, many different textures started getting into the industry or in the open market that we could see huge and diverse products that would come. In fact, I used to work for a company which used to make Symphony air coolers, and I could see this right there. That is where I used to design my products initially. And it is today around 1,000 crore company. Basically, their innovation was nothing more than earlier air coolers which were made from metal, they converted that into a plastic container. So predominantly the founder had come back from US, and he realized that this air cooler market is only an organized market, and you used to get this Delhi market which are made from fabricated from the metal. So he said, why don't we get industrial design on board and take them and make this particular boxy kind of air cooler look very aesthetically, very, very beautiful and very beautiful, so that it fits into the context of. So it would be an equivalent of looks like an AC, but at an affordable price of air cooler. So that was a good idea where this whole aspect of moving from predominantly a metal or a sheet metal fabrication based design to invariably going to plastic as a major component. So that's one of my earlier designs that you could see right from my beginning of career. Then later on, when I became a designer with consumer products, I had a privilege of working with diverse different materials, and we as a designers enjoy what you can do with the material, the texture of it, the feel of it, the smell of it, both from multi-sensory perspective, it will give you different aspects. For example, when I started designing watches, I spent a lot of my time designing watches. Predominantly metal was very dominant. Still, if you look at all good watches are metal-based watches, and in that too, kind of finish that you would get on those watches, be the ones designed, were predominantly either gold plated or silver plated. And this kind of transformed to VR and where we are coming from today. So there's one very famous book by Tom Norman, which says about watches tell more than time. I think it's worth to read for all those who are going in design. Please get a copy of this particular book, which is Watches Tell More Than Time. Fantastic way of looking at products and different services that are available. And obviously, the materials that materials are formed, the core material, the shine and the kind of feel that it gives you something is also not only the practical or the finance or the value of the gold, but it also has a status symbol. So how this material is coming into products and how it also evaluates your own, elevates your own status or by this right material. And now, if you look at, we have all these product design as a convergence where different materials are coming to our product. So typically, you have not only just plastic, but you have a variety of right from metal to plastic to ceramic. All of these are kind of integrated into various complex product that we are seeing in and around us. So I think that's a pretty forwarding in terms of how I look at how design and material, both of them are really, really well connected in a holistic development of design as a product or a service.
I would like to really describe that. See, it's a material world. So, at the end of the day, what we look at is all about material. So, it is in the heart of a designer or an architect how he or she is going to utilize the right manner, right context. So, it is easy to just recommend or propose a material, maybe suited to the context, or sometimes you can go wrong with the adding the situation and context. But sometimes it goes well and that's what this block exactly comes into picture. For example, like Apple phones or Apple products, where these phones are of the ceramic edges, they are thrown off compared to the metal body earlier. So somewhere some designer has thought it in terms of utilizing having it as a light material with a natural finish itself. And that's what delivered a wonderful product in the market, right? But at the same time, that people can also go wrong in terms of the product like earlier utilization and probably they did not succeed in that. So what I want to say is, it is the act of a designer or architect utilize the material in the right context and using the right form of material. Right? That's what this is now and to come out what is right for them. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Raju. I'm not a designer. I'm not in a fashion technology. Okay? Sorry to say this. I'm a material person. I'm a material person. I'm a designer. I'm not studying any kind of designing course. I'm a designer. Okay? But the thing is, in the world, material which you selected for the design, that makes your product more. So how efficiently you will put efforts toward the material to convert it into a design, that is completely depending upon your creation. So what kind of creation you would like to make? First you have to think of, you have to imagine, is a physics. You have to imagine your final product first. Don't go blindly. First imagine, this is my raw material. This is what I want to do. So how can I convert into a material into a design? This is the main concept of design thinking. I don't know, it is my perception, it is my opinion personally. Okay? And basically coming to my field of area, I am basically doing my PhD in material science, purely physics. Okay? And after that, I have entered into a new world of food composite materials. I don't know anything what is plywood, what is gold, even gold also I doesn't know how to make. But now after 15 years of my research experience in the wood and wood-based composites, I can say I can design any kind of wood composite. By using even grass also I can make a product. Grass. Not grass will be there, I can make a product with the grass. If you give bamboo, I can make a product. I think here you are using some wooden flooring. So I can make a product. Okay? Suppose if you give some leaves, I can make it. So, from the, in my point of view, no material is wasted. So, how you are utilizing into a product. And I just wanted to propose this. Here I have seen almost for 3 to 5 presentations. All are a different kind of presentation. But all are having a some common thing is design. So how they make it? I will read somebody has made this, sir has made very good creation for me. And somebody has given somebody has given related to the cultural aspects and this thing. So when I saw this presentation, I have imagined my own house in my own home. Still there is a kind of thing, corrugated. It is a very good. Okay, house orders is one important. It is a new one. But behind that there is a called creation. That creativity is from his own mind as well. So my perception in the design and engineering, having a both are having a 50-50% of priority. It is not one is dominant, one is lower, but both are having a equal priority. So that makes you lead to a good design. Thank you.
I can see that the expert sitting on maternity on the panel list, and I can see that they talk about the originality of the material, or the composite version of the material. But my quick question, I think, because this is the last session, and we have done a couple of sessions before this session, one quick question to this panelists is how this technology is changing everything, and the technology is changing the maturity as well. So how we are going to be addressing that problem? Just for an example, so traditional way we used to make walls. In very near future, we will be making walls through technology. We don't need any material to make it happen. So technology is interfering a lot of things in our day-to-day life. How we will be taking this as an opportunity or challenge?
So I am working as a scientist. Suppose if you have any technology, make sure that it should be in a marketing way. One thing is, don't do any product for yourself. Do a product or develop a product for a public purpose. Whatever the product. Okay. Suppose if anybody out of this auditorium. If anybody having any kind of composite material technology, innovative technology, they can approach me surely. I am going to take it as an application in my hand, which I can forward minimum of 50 industries. Minimum of 50 industries, I can suggest you your technology to develop as a product only. Okay? But for a research purpose, for a PhD purpose, for a publication purpose, don't do the research. This is my humble request. And one more thing I'm telling you are all youngsters. I'm telling for the name sake, don't share your publication. For the name sake, see, nowadays, don't feel bad because I am also coming from the college stage to student stage to university stage. Now we are at a professional position. I'm telling, I publish a paper, I put my co-author as a Professor Kalidas. He is into the design. I am into medical science. He will publish a paper. He will put my name. I don't know what is name. But citations for equally comes. What is this? My specialization is different. His specialization. Okay. But my opinion is don't share any kind of application with your best friend also. Make sure that it may be difficult to accept it, but it is going on. Okay, don't make sure that your publication is your own hard work. Don't share it with anyone. Don't share it with anyone. Even your professor difference also is you tell what is your input on my article. Okay, I will share your article on that. Put your efforts at least 20%. I'll give you a quota. This is the why because nowadays, whatever the publication process, technology process going on, in a different mode. It is in a different mode. We should bring back to a healthy mode. Be a competitor. You publish 3.5 or 4 impact factor channel, I publish 5 impact 6 impact. Okay, make sure that your work should be good, reputed work. That work will carry out to your technology. That technology will obviously be coming to this. Have you seen great pilots or article that just did? A 16 years old girl as an entrepreneur now. She has designed a recently one what do you call it? Artificial intelligence. Okay, she developed a one app. Okay. So what is her age? What is she is coming out around 160 crore in span of 3 years. In span of 3 years. So whatever the technology you have, it should be a good and it should be an application way. This is my answer for this. And I don't know whether it is justified or not.
Sorry, more about the role of materiality in technology. I mean, the technology is not about the sharing of the work. I think we are talking about how the materiality, the technology is taking over the materiality. That's one.
So, taking over, so like technology and maturity, they play a role in such a way, it just tries to give you a visual. Technology basically helps to give you a visual of the material or the final outcome of the material, how it should be. But when you are turning it into the reality, you'll have to have a physical approach towards it. Otherwise, you cannot make it or you cannot turn it into the usable or you cannot turn that design very much visible to the other people. Like just giving few examples. Like if you see Sabyasachi or if you see Ritu Kumar, they are from fashion industry, right? But then what is happening with them? They are putting their designs into the cutleries. You see, So it's just the effort, the visual, the technology is creating, but they're putting an effort to make that physical. So that is the technology just gives the visual to you, and then the physical touch is very much needed. One more example I'm going to give, like recently I just saw Subodh Gupta, our practitioner and the installation artist, if you know. So he has just tied up with the Earth India, and they are going to make other sets of cutleries, especially where Super Gupta is very much like specialist in making the huge installations with utensils. I'm not making the utensils, just using the utensils and attaching towards one after the other. So it's just the from like making it as a new media art to the design, new media design. It's just a visual the technology can give you, but physically you have to have that essence with the material to make it more utilized. You have to have that visual physical quality. Just like that.
Hello. So my question is, there are a lot of materials that are being created recently. So I would like to know, is a new material created for making a lifestyle better, or the lifestyle which we are living right now is causing for us the result of making a new material? So how is it? So is it a new material created for a better lifestyle for a person, or is the lifestyle making us create a new material for ourselves?
Good. So, if I understand what you are saying, what was the solution has become a problem itself. Is that what you are trying to convey? Am I right? So, this is like one is the cycle of problem and solution. At one time, plastic seemed to be a solution for many of the design, and today the plastic itself has become a nuisance for us, isn't it? Now, as somebody who's applying design to improve the quality of life, both in terms of convenience as well as in terms of meaning for life, in terms of quality of life, for example, sustainability and all those. Now that is left to each one of us as a designer. What kind of role, what are the drivers which drive our inputs? For example, a lot of designers are today driven by the business dynamics, isn't it? So when the business wants to create a product which is loved by masses, now it comes with its own set of problems. For example, today, emission in the car itself is a problem, right? Pollution that we see around. Now, so this perpetual search for ideal answer is going to be continuous. It's not going to be a one-stop answer. So I always say that there is nothing called ultimate design or ultimate product design. We can always improvise upon the existing designs or existing services or solutions. Now, whatever technology is available to us at that point, once there is a better technology or a technology which has got a less carbon footprint, perhaps you move on to the big one. For example, today we are talking about EVs, electric vehicles. That seems to be a one foot better than what we were living in the fossil fuel era of technology. Now, the other thing which Sir was mentioning about how technology is impacting material, I think is really disappointing broad. I have a different take on that. If you look at it, the research is happening at nanoparticle levels. Isn't it? So there's a whole research which is happening in US and San Diego, I know, where they are trying to create robots from nanoparticles. Now these robots are going to be utilized in the medical profession. So instead of open heart surgery for removing the blockage in the arteries, they are going to inject these small micro nanoparticles which are designed and they can't be visibly seen from eyes, you can see them under the microscope, which are basically injected into the blood flow and it goes and removes whatever is blocking your easier flow. So one is how this technology is going to change the way products or services are going to be consumed or kind of consumed. In 90s and 20s, if you look at lot of products which were bulkier had become narrower, smaller. For example, the mobile phone, when first it was patented, it was as big as a cordless phone. Today it has become a very small form factor, essentially because the technology which is developed and ensured that you can create a smaller chips
can create a smaller motherboard. So as the possibility increases, you will see that that gets into a new product design and better product design. Now, is there one final answer for your question? No, I think this fight between how much, what portion of the design is going to create a problem for the society and what is useful is going to be a problem. So that you will never have a 100% white product. What I mean by white is everything is good about it and no side effects. You will always this good and bad will come along with it. Now, only thing from perhaps you want to do is you want to tweak it in such a way that a component which is advantageous or which is less harmful, perhaps that could be considered and then a improvised version of that product would come. Often you must have heard about this vegan leather. Heard of this vegan leather, isn't it? So that's which I think it was not there around 10 years back. Who is speaking about that leather? So I think as a humanity, we perpetually search for this ultimate answers where there is a 100% useful and zero harmful. I think there is, I don't know how many people know there is something called BRIS, theory of equity problem solution, where there is something called ideal function result. Yeah. So basically, the ideal function solution is nothing about similar to what you are asking. Yeah, I don't know whether I answered your question, but essentially we are trying to find that solution which is the most ideal. Yeah.
Does anyone else have a question?
Hi, sir. Sir, my question is that do you think that within history is long gone now and we don't have any trace or languages to decipher and we're not able to decipher it? And we've lost like old techniques to use materials or printings that are still standing. And will we be able to, decipher how to again use those materials and techniques that can last that long? Because I think currently, whatever we see in news.
Sorry, cannot repeat the.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I personally believe we have lost a lot of techniques in old times to use materials or so the buildings that were made in old times are still standing, but our buildings keep falling. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So, what is your observation is that in the progress we have lost some of the good things. That's what you're trying to say, is it? That's your question.
Yes.
So, the way when you look at past, in our head, the past always looks very nice and very beautiful. There is some sense of romanticism involved that when we were children, we had glorious time, isn't it? It's only a reflection of our perception and our past. But I trust me, the challenges were much bigger in those days compared to what we are in currently, isn't it? Now, it doesn't mean that they didn't have more problems or lesser problems. The problems still remain, and the problems we are dealing with are so different from what problems they should be. For example, when electricity was not available, we can always glorify saying that it was such a beautiful night was there, we could see the stars and we could see the moon, and it is giving a hypothetical situation. But imagine living in that dark area, all the kind of risks of your life. Today, at night, you don't feel like it's night, but we don't feel available. So we have made a progress, but at what cost this progress has come? That is the kind of question you're asking. And there are countries which are trying to blend the goodness of the past and the present. So these both things have to be carried forward. A lot of sustainable practices which were there in India, I think which we already left or we forgot and not even not implemented. I think taking that forward is the way to go. And if you look at today, I think as the affordability of Indian consumers increases, they don't mind paying to pay more for organic food or organic kind of products. But CBD ones very natural because the basic was for organic. Today the organic is more expensive compared to the one which is used by fertilizer. So I think when we move forward, are we looking very objectively at the match or it is just our perception or how we imagine the past world? So I think I always feel that the past always looks very beautiful in our head. It makes that we may not be so valuable.
We can have a last concluding question today.
So, namaste. My name is Shiv. To Vardharas. So we are using the present days many papers for different purposes in the colleges. Now we are digitalized. We are using digital gadgets for our exams also. So how you give the justification for these materials which are going to be wasted as converted to the design? Please. We are using sorry. We are using so many papers for exams and purpose, right? And I have seen many colleges have started digital exams. They are using the pads. So now we are using so many papers. So how you give your justification for this waste material as a design? How it will be converted to design? Yes, and it has to be used. Like it has to come out with a beautiful output.
So the exam papers and all the papers that we use for examinations for internals and all these papers, is there any alternative of creating something nice out of it? Creating a better option?
How many of you using currency for your question or answer? How many of you using currency? I think nobody. Say no. Everyone is using, right? I am made up. Means my team of scientists made up of a particle board by using currency. By using currency, sir, for your information it is. So I think hope your answer might have. There is no waste. Your exam papers, question papers, whatever it is, I'm telling why I come to the currency also. There is no waste of from the material. You can utilize by using that part. I'm coming to this currency. Last, I think demonetization happened. I don't know which year it is, but I faced a lot of struggle to exchange my currency. Okay. RBI have almost 150 plus tons of currency after demonetization. So they cannot throw it up. They cannot dump it in a yard. It is a currency. It is a reserve bank. It is India's most valuable and valued currency. So you cannot. Then they come up to us. Sir, what can we do? Sir, let you know, sir, they ask me. In your college, it is your question paper and answer papers, but RBA, they have a currency. So, what we have done, we ask them, what you want to do with it? My question is first, what you want to do with it? They ask that we just wanted to make it a useful program in any form, but it should not be as usual. Then they said that we cannot have them give the currency to us. They made it chips. They made it in small particles which is having a dimension of 2 mm to 4 mm to 5 mm, maximum 10 mm of thickness. And that was, they crushed it. They sent their bags, almost 10 to 20 bags to our laboratory. Okay. That laboratory, what we have done is, our first primary use is what we can make with that currency. Right? So what we have done, we have studied some laboratory studies, laboratory level study. We have mixed it with some resins, available resins, BF resin, UF resin, and all. And there was a little bit competition in the bonding products. Then we have added some other materials, and finally we got a product called currency particle. Usually with the wood we are making we have made the particle boards. Then we have made it a currency particle board. We have named it as a currency particle board only in the laboratory. And For your information, entire currency has been crashed and given to us. We have made it as a pilot service factory trial also. In future, if any currency is approved in the RBI, that is coming to our laboratory and it will go to one industry where we have tied up with the industry. It is located in Pune. So, this is the progress of material can be transferred into in another form of material. Sir, happy? Okay.
Good
Yes.
morning, good afternoon, sir. Regarding design and materiality, my question is, we are all using products from our childhood. As we observe, as we are getting older, when we are children, those products what we use, like geometry box, a school bag, are still surviving. They are there. If you even look back, the products used by our father or grandfather to keep the clothes or something, or almari, they are still there. So as we see the design is progressed, so we are using lighter materials or the materials are changed from wood or iron or something different. So we are implementing design to bring the stability with the lighter materials. But the durability somewhere is a question. My question is it a conscious decision the companies are making the consumer to buy the same product repeatedly since it should not be much durable? What's your views on this?
Interesting observation you have made that is it a company is making conscious decision about durability of the products. It is conscious decision. There's something called design for obsolescence. So a lot of these products are designed with keeping a very small cycle of durability, so that for example, in earlier days, if you got a fountain pen, it would last 20 years. Now the company would get a business from you for next 15, 20 years. So they have got this thing and they have said, why should we invest so much? Because the material would be very expensive. So they now brought a material which is cheaper, that reduces their cost. But that with that comes a less durability or the less reliability of the product and services. Now, because of this design for obsolescence, you see a rate at which products are filled in our house and the way we discard happen, we all are going to face a different set of problems. Today, everybody owns more products than they want in their houses. Typically, you go to any houses, Amazon has made it very convenient, isn't it? We are full of products are there. Now, once that gets used, what do you do? So that is actually creating problem of recycling. Dump yards are getting filled with a lot of cars, a lot of products, and things. So I think this whole thing is built into because the engine of industrialization of the business is driving people based on how at what rate you are able to buy a new product or enforce it. Yeah, so I think by design the obsolescence is built into. Yeah. So unless there is something which happens probably maybe a space kind of research where these aspects are left out, so they will be built for asking for 20 years, 30 years. Consumer market, I think design for obsolescence is going to come and stay here for a long time.
So, to make a point here, conscious effort by the industries, just I want to throw an example here. That I think we might have seen recent about EVs coming into this electric vehicle, of using this engine batteries. But there are some investigations happening that it's still available in little on the just the EVs can exist. So beyond that, what is these next forms of sustainable resources for using? So on the other side, this Toyota, you might have seen that they also have electric vehicles as of now. But their research investigation talks about bringing hybrid technology rather than going to electric vehicles because they believe in terms of the composite of conventional fuel versus electric or some other technology to lead to next successful fuel source of new vehicles is that's what the research is about. So companies are taking large responsibilities in terms of pushing products and very conscious way of research to answer your question. So I will always wonder where many companies are releasing on large scale But I've been very consciously following this matters research clearly that they also did a research for EVs, but they discovered that it's as very less life compared to EVs as other companies thought. So that's why they're pushing hybrid technologies to very high, faster mode, and they're slightly partially successful as of building very efficient engines. If you look at engine design, also they're using very conventional materials like comes with copper as small cylinders in that, which is the earlier cars are all made of proper steel material. If you look at 50 years back, this Ferraris, all US cars used to come with proper homemade steel, very heavy material. Now I think more or less slightly 20% we move back in terms of the sustainable material same. So I would say that companies are doing very conscious research, but not all at the same. Some companies who are responsible feel like in terms of pushing good technology or taking bonus and doing the conscious. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all our panel members. A big round of applause for all our panelists. It was a remarkable session where everyone loved the discussion and loved the topics that were discussed. Thank you so much once again. You can go and have your seats respectively. Thank you. We can finally start with the distributing of participation certificates. I will request Vice Principal and Principal sir to kindly come up on stage for the certificate distribution. Shirasa and Janmam, I request you to come on stage, give away the certificates. I would like to call Ms. Namrata Anand Tulse. A big round of applause for Namrata ma'am, please. Dr. Devanjan M. A big round of applause for Dr. Devanjan, please. Ms. Hemavati R. Architect Vanita Udaka. Architect Fatima Samana. Is she there? I would like to call Ms. Brunda G.S. Do we have Ms. Brunda here? Dr. Soumya, Dr. Hemlata Rudmani and her co-authors, Mr. Basavraj Sankur, and thank you so much sir for being one of the panel members. A big round of applause for Mr. Basavraj, please. Mr. Akash Verman and his co-authors. And thank you so much, Mr. Akash, for being one of our panel members. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Rohit Sharma and his co-author, Mr. L.V. Sherpa. Can we have you on stage, Mr. Sherpa, sir? And also thank you so much, Mr. Rohit Sharma sir, for being one of our panel members. A big round of applause to Mr. Rohit Sharma sir, please. I would like to call again architect Navita Odala. A lot of certificates, ma'am. And calling the people that were part of the final panel session, the panel discussion, Dr. Bharat Raju. A big round of applause for Dr. Bharat Raju, please. And a big thank you, sir, for being with us here today. I would like to call Mr. Divya Darshan. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us today. And lastly, Mr. Prakash V. Gunagar. A big round of applause, Mr. Prakash, sir, please. Thank you
This is going to be the first district sponsor selected by the faculties in administration. From now on, I'm expecting sponsor will be selected by the students in the faculty together. You are going to create the first election for a democratic council selection. This is the first time we are selecting on the faculty side. From now on, next year onward, you will be the designer of a democratic student council. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will request everyone to go and have a seat. I will request Jaya ma'am and staff to kindly feedback. So we have a list of people who are still waiting for their certificates. I would like to call Architect Fatima Samana ma'am to collect her certificate of participation. Can we have a big round of applause for Fatima ma'am, please? I would like to call Dr. Soumya T. And also thank you so much, ma'am, for being one of our panel members. A big round of applause for Dr. Soumya, please. A big round of applause for Soumya, ma'am. Next, I would like to call Miss Brunda G.S. And thank you so much, Brunda ma'am, for being one of our panelists. A big round of applause for Miss Brunda G.S. I would like to call Ms. Niveda Chandrasekharan, one of our panel members. A huge round of applause for Ms. Niveda, please. And also Mrs. Ashwini Atul Joshi. Ms. Hema ma'am can pick it up on her behalf. A huge thanks to Ms. Ashwini ma'am for being one of our panel members. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Principal and Vice Principal. As we draw this remarkable gathering to a close, it's my distinct honor to extend, on behalf of the team of the Acharya School of Design, a sincere and deeply felt word of thanks to each and every one of you. To our distinguished speakers, presenters, and panelists, your insights have not only informed but transformed. You have challenged our perspectives, ignited our imaginations, and reminded us that design at its core is a discipline of hope, responsibility, and infinite possibility. To our team and volunteers, your tireless dedication behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, ensured that every detail was executed with precision and grace. To our dear Principal Sir, who envisioned this event, and Vice Principal who stood strong in this creation. The entire Graphic and Communication Department team who stayed up till 2 a.m., making sure that all details were taken care of. All the other departments that made sure that each and everything works smoothly. To Dr. Sheetal, who has put up all her energy in this event. A big round of applause to her also, please. And also to Assistant Professor Manoj and his team in making sure and creating this remarkable website that we had for AIPC. And also Assistant Professor Shalaka Patil, who worked on the finer details of making sure that this event worked out very well. Not to forget the other faculty members from Architecture Department who have made sure that they were there with us in every walk. I would like to thank Architect Fatima ma'am and Architect Sushma ma'am for being here with us always. A big round of applause to them too. Thank you so much. Words are going to be short to express the gratitude and thank everyone for their work. Not to forget the non-teaching staff and the helpers that we have had who stood with us always. This event is a testament of the excellence and professionalism. And finally, to the creative community at large. Let this gathering not be just an end, but a continuation. May the connections forged here evolve into collaborations. May the ideas born here take shape in your studios, classrooms, companies, and may the spirit of curiosity and courage that fill this space accompany you wherever you design next. Thank you for making Acharya International Design Conference a resounding success. Until we meet again, keep imagining, keep building, and above all, keep designing with purpose. To conclude this event and conclude this celebration, I would now request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जगति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you so much, everyone. Concluding, I would like to say the fun doesn't end here. Maybe on paper we would end it, but then we have our fashion and apparel design department putting up a fashion show. So I request everyone to kindly proceed towards the basketball or the volleyball ground. The fashion show department has set up their show right now and waiting for everyone. And also, we have set up tea, so everyone can fill their stomachs first a little bit and then maybe proceed towards the fashion show. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. One more, I keep disturbing you all again and again. Maybe everyone can come on the dais and we can click a photo. I request everyone to kindly come to the stage. We can have one big group picture.